Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. Today we're going to be breaking down the Knicks Summer League roster. We were actually the final team to officially list their roster, so that's why the wait took so long. But overall, we have 17 guys on the roster. All 4 of our draft picks are going to be playing. So, Bacome Dadier, Tyler Kolek, Ariel Hukporti, and Kevin McCullough are all going to be good to go. Remember last year's draft, we didn't have any rookies, so there wasn't a lot of excitement. It was kind of boring, and the team had a bad record because of it. We also have guys on two-way contracts. We've got Jacob Toppin, the brother of Obi Toppin, of course, Dwayne Washington Jr., and then the final roster spots are going to go to Damian Bowe, Devin Kennedy, Kilo Sealy, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I looked all these names up, by the way, but I still suck with names regardless. So Alan Griffin, Kamani Johnson, Rokas Jokubaitis, Amari Kelly, Justin Lewis, Obada Noel, Alex O'Connell, Dimitrios Skapensev. There we go. The team will be coached by Dice Yoshimoto, who is entering his 5th season with the Knicks organization. Yoshimoto served as special assistant to head coach Tom Thibodeau from 2020 to 2022 before entering his current role as assistant coach. So here are my takeaways overall, and then we're going to get into things to look forward to for a Knicks fan. So looking at Jokubaitis, after Lithuania was eliminated from the Olympic qualifiers, he became available to join the Knicks. This is something that I talked about on the channel. Pay attention to his country, because if they end up losing, then he's probably going to end up playing for the Knicks, and he has a contract extension ahead of him, so maybe he doesn't go back there. Maybe he plays for the Knicks, right? If he balls out, I find it hard to believe that the Knicks are not going to take action. So I mean, this is a massive summer league. You could argue that this is the most important summer league we've had in years, and I get that we've had some really good teams with Obi and IQ, and Quentin Grimes looked like an absolute future superstar, man, MVP type of player in the summer league, right? We also had a Miles McBride, for example. We've had a lot of good teams, but I think this team is the best we've had. I'm being completely honest, man. We're going to make a lot of noise, and there's just so much different things, right? So we have guys that at the collegiate level played well. We have guys coming from overseas and all over the G League. I mean, it's just a fun roster with a lot of talent. But the number one thing to pay attention to, I'd say even more than our rookies, is Jokubaitis, because man, did he shoot the lights out of the basketball for Barcelona. The dude was shooting almost 50% from 3. His efficiency was amazing. He's a point guard. Shot 57% from the field, put up 7 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists in 18 minutes per game. You look at Jalen Brunson, he called him a great player. Whoever Jalen Brunson calls a great player is a great player, because Jalen Brunson is one of the best top 5 players in basketball. So keep an eye, man. We haven't seen much of him as Knicks fans. We've seen him for, 20 minutes in total action in the Summer League, but he's going to get an opportunity, and if he ends up performing well, I could see him on the roster. I know that sounds crazy, but I think he's got that type of potential with the way he can shoot the basketball and just play the point. You look at, again, last season, guys, Charlie Brown Jr. was our standout player. We also had a couple of other guys that we were paying attention to, like Isaiah Roby and Trevor Keels, but they just disappointed, and the team was not very good. So this time around, that's not going to be the case. There's really one more thing, or really 2 more things. So the one thing is going to be our rookies, right? Because even though I know Jokubaitis, I talk about how I'm looking forward to him, but our rookies are still our rookies, right? So Dadier is a guy who is just 18 years old, but he's got a lot of potential. He can shoot the basketball. He plays well within the offense from what I've seen on tape. He's a guy that we want to pay attention to because he's on our roster. Even if he's in the G League, he's still technically on our roster. So, and then of course, we're going to have a guy like a Tyler Kolek. He potentially could end up being our backup point guard. I saw a report that the Knicks could end up trading Miles McBride for a center, and then they would promote Tyler Kolek to the backup point guard. Now, it was from a trusted source, but do not quote me on that. I did hear that. So Tyler Kolek, if he plays well, legitimately the Knicks might hand him the keys to the second unit, which would just be ridiculous for Coach Tibbs to do that for a rookie, even though he's 23. But the Knicks did give him the most guaranteed money for a second-round pick ever. So also, I really wouldn't be surprised. I mean, everything's on the table, guys. This is, like I said, this is a massive summer league because the Knicks are trying to win a championship. And if guys play well and actually make the roster and give us something, then that's going to give our starters and our bench players fresher legs, right? So that would be cool. Another thing that I wanted to throw in here that's kind of a wild card is Amari Kelly, right? Because I bet you there isn't going to be one Knicks channel that you watch today that talks about Amari Kelly. And if they do, smash the like button because that's a real Knicks fan right there. But I looked into Amari Kelly and I'm extremely excited for him. I mean, last season, he shot 42% from 3, 55% from the field. He blocked a shot a game. He got 6 rebounds a game, and he scored 12 points per game. So I feel like he has the potential to be a very good player in the NBA. He also played 5 years of college basketball. So looking at these college kids, if somebody comes in at 18 years old, I don't really have much faith in them. But if they played 5 years of college ball, they're going to be ready to go. And this is a guy who, you look at the first 4 years of his college experience, he scored, how many threes did he make? Four 3-pointers in 4 years of college basketball. And then in his 5th year, 25. And yeah, sure, you take 25 threes, you make 42% of them. That's not the most amount of volume, but the fact that he actually improved on it speaks a lot about him and what he's trying to do at the next level. So I'm looking forward to Amari Kelly, man. I think he's going to honestly ball out in the summer league. He's a guy that you probably haven't heard of until right now, but you will by the end of the summer league. I can promise you that. And then in terms of Tyler Kolek, we kind of talked about him, just his ability to run the offense. The Knicks last season did not have any sort of playmaking outside of Jalen Brunson. We saw them try to use Josh Hart at point guard, Miles McBride. It just simply never worked. And because of that, the Knicks, when Brunson went to the bench, just struggled to generate offense, to create things. So if Kolek legitimately plays well in the summer league, I could see him running the second unit. This is a guy that averaged 7.7 assists, 4.9 rebounds, 15.3 points. You look at what he did with his 3-ball, so 40% and then 39% in his last 2 seasons. Most importantly, though, in the biggest stage in the NCAA tournament, 18.7 points through 3 games. Remember, he had 21, 11, and 5. He helped Marquette advance to the Sweet 16 and a win over Colorado. I hate having to say that about Kolek because I'm a Colorado fan, but yes, he did do that. Screw you, Kolek, but you better be doing that for the Knicks, bro. You did it against my freaking Buffaloes, but yeah, this is a guy who, he went 17 for 25 on spot-up shooting, the exercise, and he hit 12 straight threes. The guy wasn't even touching the rim. I mean, Kolek to me could legit be a star. He could be a star point guard at the next level. I mean, TJ McConnell, I get, isn't an all-star, but he's a star for the Pacers, right? And Knicks fans would agree with that. He was a star for the Pacers. Without McConnell, they don't beat us in that series. Like, anyone that disagrees obviously wasn't watching a lot of the games or any of the games. But if he can beat TJ McConnell, I mean, I would take that right now. I mean, that would be an incredible addition to the Knicks, right? But he could be more, too, because in college, he was absolutely balling out. But Jokic, I think we talked a little bit enough about, man. I'm so excited to see what he can do. But Porta's a guy that a lot of Knicks fans are excited about. I don't know too much about him. I do know that he played in Germany, put up 5 points, 6.3 rebounds, over 14.3 minutes in 3 games, 2 starts. He also played, before the BBL, he played in Melbourne, which is in Australia. That's the NBL, right? So yeah, he put up 8.4 points, 7 rebounds, over 18.4 minutes in 28 games. To be honest with you guys, he's the type of player that he just needs to continue to develop. I think he's got a lot of skill, and that's why it's highlighted in these notes of his skill level, because Knicks fans are going to be like, okay, this guy is pretty raw, but man, does he have a lot of potential, and man, does he look exciting. Jacob Toppin, has he made any improvements? I mean, to me, last season, he was raw. I get in the G League, he looked good, but for the Knicks, he averaged under 2 points a game on 55.6% shooting, which is good, but again, the volume is very low. 0.9 rebounds, 0.4 assists, and 4.6 minutes. He didn't really get a lot of minutes, but is he a better player, right? Has he been spending this offseason grinding and locked in? Is he a guy that can put up big numbers in the summer league? I mean, because in the G League, he put up 22, 9, and 3 in 37 minutes as a starter in 15 games. And really, the last thing is going to be Kevin McCullough. What does he give us in terms of his 3-point shooting? Because he's not the best 3-point shooter. So has he been working on that? Is he better, man? And then also it's going to be his IQ, his free throw, a lot of the fundamentals as well, because we know he's electric. We know that this guy defensively brings intensity. He's a hard worker, and he's a very smart player. But I just want to see what he can bring, because he's a guy that I think is going to be a G League stud for the Knicks. So if he can continue to, just show us something, man, I mean, for the future, he could be a huge piece for this team.